Alright, hello everybody. Just want to thank you for joining me today on my little walk through Erna Nixon Park. And we got the sun there that's backlit. So I apologize for that. It's going to be hard to see me, so maybe I'll pause it until we can get a better situation where we can actually record it. Actually, it's showing up now. I can see a little bit of my handsome mug here on YouTube. And wanted to do a little talking head episode with you guys. It's been a while since we did one of these. If you tuned into the vlogs and that's what brought you here, then that was one of the first talking head episodes. It's been now a little over 2 years since the channel was formed, and we are actually here this time in quite a different setting. I guess I'm currently not living full-time in the van right now, even though I was pseudo. I was living like 70-80% in the van up until about 2 weeks ago when I left my job as a product demonstrator for Hessler worldwide, what you guys know as the knife gig. Currently right now I'm looking for additional work, but actually trying very hard to turn YouTube into potential work, in the sense that I actually get paid and can try to make a decent living on it. So what you've been seeing on the channel lately, some of you have wondered what it's all about. It basically has to do with converting the channel from a channel that wasn't designed to earn income to a channel that is designed to earn income. And if you're interested in learning about that, you'll want to stay tuned and follow along when I show those episodes. I've tried to start to do things in a playlist so that people who are interested in specific topics can actually find the videos that are related to that and basically just watch what they like. Oh, thank you, thank you. I guess I was walking a little too loudly and too closely to the guy in front of me, but he was kind enough to let me pass. Anyhow, what I'm going to try to do is make a bunch of different playlists that will let you tune in specifically to the things that catch your interest, because this channel ended up becoming a catch-all. You know, initially it was just supposed to be not even any vlogs. The vlogs came after the van build series. I had a series of episodes of van builds where I showed how you could easily convert a minivan into an emergency survival shelter camper, stealth camper, for under $300. And that's essentially what Little Blue was and is. And that's why it looks kind of thrown together, but I still thought it looked halfway decent considering the budget was like $300. The van itself cost about $700 or $800, so, you know, for less than $1,500 you had a little tiny house on wheels. And not only that, you had the ability to cook. It had a battery system for staying cool, and basically kept me alive for the past 2 years. So if you're interested in the van build itself, you want to check out the playlist for the van build itself. If you're interested in what life was like and is like as a van dweller full-time, not one of those weekend people who actually have a decent job and a decent home and whatnot, and even have a nice van because they can afford it all, and they put that together and then they do their little weekend excursions and then call themselves van dwellers or digital nomads or whatever. And I guess they are, in a sense. I guess yeah, it'd be like a part-time van dweller or a part-time digital nomad, or, you know, they're able to do what they do, make the money and enjoy their efforts. So I can't fault them for that. But a lot of times when I look at those channels and see those people talking, I'm like, you know, this is a lot of crock, because the reality is if you're a full-time van dweller and you're on a limited budget, because that's your sole source of income, survival is what you're at. You know, you're just trying to survive day by day. It's not, oh, did you see that? Dandelions. Love dandelions. Anyhow, if you're a person who is not doing it because, you know, you have another job and this is just a little time, a little like weekend getaway type situation for you, it's certainly different than someone who does this only part-time, like they do it on weekends. They really should not be calling them, I guess they can call themselves whatever they want, but when they call themselves van dwellers and a lot of people watch them, they think that this is how it is. And then when they get into the van dwelling movement or the living in a van or van life movement, they see that the reality isn't so pretty, you know. It's kind of hard. Even simple things like going to the bathroom or cooking food or staying cool or staying warm or parking to sleep at night become an issue. And I think when they're part-timers, it's not as much of an issue, because like even if you're part-timing and you're stealth camping, you're only doing it 1 or 2 nights out of the month, I mean the week, okay? That's assuming you go every weekend. It's easy to stay and stealth and hide for those 2 days, 1 or 2 days. But if you're doing it 365 days a year, it's a lot harder, especially if you're stuck in a certain city. You know, if you're able to travel from city to city, you don't run into those problems, because the police, whatever, they notice you, they might just let you go. But if you're at the same city day in, day out, they tend to crack down on you, you know, especially if they have ordinances and whatnot that say no overnight parking, no overnight camping. So check out the vlog list if you're really interested in what life was like and is like as a, at least for me, as a full-time van dweller, stealth camping in a minivan in an urban environment. I did it not because I really wanted to, I did it because I had to. Now, I do enjoy it to an extent, because it is a way to really test yourself and see if you can actually survive. For me, it wasn't so much a test as a, I have to do this because this is where I'm at. And those who have been following me have seen that, and have actually helped to a great extent, because there were issues, you know, like loneliness, just trying to make it through, trying to figure out what to do. It can be overwhelming, because if you're used to, I guess, being a sticks and bricks person, and then you're suddenly tossed out into a little vehicle, it's kind of overwhelming and a bit scary. You know, I've been lucky in the sense that, you know, I've always been able to sort of survive even as a kid. I guess it's because I grew up in Thailand, and ever since I was young, you know, I had to kind of know how to take care of myself. Now, some of the people who are watching this channel, I know, don't really live in a van, maybe dream of it, or maybe just are interested in the lifestyle, or just found the content intriguing. And I can see by the postings that you really don't understand or can't relate. And sometimes you question the things I do and why I do them. And it has to do with my own, you know, developments and what I'm trying to do on this end. Now, some people have wondered why I've been doing videos that don't seem to be me living in a van, even though they're tagged as living in a van. The channel is called Living in a Van because originally it was about building and living in a van. It ended up being a vlog about me living in the van and trying to survive day by day. And right now I'm not in the van, but there's a chance, if you've been following along, that I could end up stuck in the van again, because I don't know what's exactly going to happen with regards to Walter's house, because unless I can get the income coming in, you know, to pay for everything, which is primarily child support, the rent, and the bills, I'm probably going to end up back in the van, which is why you see me, some new episodes coming up where you'll see me updating and working on the van, actually doing some major renovations and upgrades. And the reason for that is it could end up being home again. So hopefully, if you see me doing those renovations, it's just going to be for informational purposes and not for practical purposes, where I actually end up having to actually use it. But the plan is there, and it's being built just in case. And that's, as a matter of fact, if you followed the series along and you saw me build the yurt, that's why the yurt was built. I originally built the yurt out there because I didn't know what was going to happen. And I was designing the yurt as a place where my wife and my children could come visit me. You know, I only see my children like every other weekend, and my wife and her daughter actually work in a type of job where they actually basically care for people and stay in their houses, which is why they're not always at the house with me. They would have a place. Me, I'd have to survive on the streets again, which meant living in the van or a different type of environment arrangement. Now, living in the van, I think, is actually a great environment, but the issue is if you don't have gasoline money and you're having to drive around because you're living in a van, it can get expensive. And if you don't have the money, it becomes an issue. And especially if you're stuck in the same town and the police recognize you, they could start to hassle you and harass you specifically. They're looking for you. So by building the yurt out there, I was able to live for free pretty much. And some of you question whether I actually lived out there. The answer is yes, I was living out there. It also gave me a place that I could bring my kids and my wife, and we kind of just chilled. You know, it wasn't like home, but it was a place where we could just be ourselves and relax a little bit. So, you know, those of you who want to know more about that can watch the yurt, the Camp Freedom Yurt Build series and learn about the hut and how everything developed and what ended up happening there. As far as where we're going right now, I've actually been devoting a lot of time and energy into looking at this channel and YouTube as a job, a possible career, because being my age right now, you know, I'm more than half a century old. Can you believe that? I don't think it's going to be easy for me to get back into a real job, a regular type job. You know, I'm at the age where people are starting to look at retirement and going into a new job. I'm competing against 20-year-olds. Now, there may be jobs I can get, and I am actually college educated. I'm college educated and qualified for a lot of different type positions. But if you follow the story and know how I ended up in this situation, then you know why it's so hard for me to get a job. You know, there's a lot of legal as well as social barriers in my way, and I'm doing the best that I can to overcome them. I think that YouTube is actually giving me an opportunity to set my own path. Now, like I said, I never intended for this channel to earn money, but after looking at the growth in the past year and seeing the potential, that was without me doing anything you know, different. I mean, I did a couple little things to try to help the channel along, but I didn't really use my skill set, you know. Those of you who have followed me know that I am a software developer. I'm one of those computer techno nerd types. And if you followed me all the way back to knowing that I was in the Air Force at one time, I used to be a public affairs specialist. So that's the people who do promotions, who do advertising and you know, promotions to get people to tune in and buy your product or watch your product and whatnot. I've started to fall back on those skills. They're actually very old skills, but they were not random skills. I was actually trained in it. So being a full-time YouTuber is a dream for a lot of people, and still kind of a dream for me right now because I'm obviously not earning enough to be full-time. But looking at the numbers and looking at what's been happening with the channel and my own development efforts, I can see a real possibility, and it can happen very fast. A lot of YouTube channels can grow overnight. Some of the really big popular ones grew within a year or two. This channel is never, I don't think, ever going to really grow like that unless I develop an audience that's larger than the van dwelling community and people start tuning in just because they like me. You know, I think it's important to be liked on YouTube, and the reason for that is otherwise who wants to watch you? Who wants to watch you if they don't like you? So I don't think you should go out of your way to not be yourself. You should actually project your own reality, your own personality, and people either like you or they don't, and if they don't like you, they can leave. Speaking of which, you might have noticed there's some people that I had left on the channel for the past 2 years, even though they were what I call like negative Nellies. You know, very negative people. Some of them you might label as trolls, bullies, cyber bullies, haters. I left them there because I was hoping that the positive energy that we try to exhibit on this channel and give out, myself as well as the viewers here, you know, have tried to be kind to one another, would rub off on them. But after more than 2 years of it, I think I'm at the point now where I've had enough. Even Denoy loses his patience after a while, you know. So you might notice less comments from those type of people. The reason is I've been deleting them. I've been blocking and removing those people because life is too short for me to surround it with haters and trolls and all that. Especially right now where it's critical that I fill myself with positive people and positive energy so I can grow my channel and try to stabilize my life. You know, I've had a lot of very positive people come into my life as a result of this channel on YouTube, and for that, I'll always be grateful. But I also realize that I do need to take charge, and if I don't want to surround myself with negative people, I need to get rid of the contacts, you know, with them. Luckily, through social media sites such as Facebook or even YouTube, you have the ability to block people. Now, sadly, I think YouTube, even when I block them, they can still watch this. That's fine, you know. They can watch me and hate me. They just won't be able to use my own channel as a forum for them to spread their hate or disdain or whatever it is that they're spreading. Because at this point, I don't have time for that anymore. I'm ready to move positively forward and to try to build a life that I think a life that'll be good for me. And I want to thank you all for tuning in and joining me on this channel. We're going to go ahead and move on positively forward, and you're going to see a lot of changes slowly develop. One of the changes is going to be the Winds of Change. As a matter of fact, I had started a channel called Winds of Change, but ended up having to cancel that channel because of the whole YouTube demonetization issue, and I didn't want to produce hours or hundreds of hours or thousands of hours of content that basically don't earn anything. And the reason I don't earn anything is I don't think there's enough viewers interested in it. And it was kind of buried because it's a new channel and I didn't work properly to develop it, and I don't have the time. But rather than let that content just disappear, what I'm going to do is actually upload them to this channel as a playlist. So look forward to Winds of Change moving back into living in a van. So that'll be run as a playlist. I will run the initial videos that ran from that channel first, and then we'll start to produce some new content for Winds of Change. I do miss the ability to just talk to the viewers and share ideas and listen to you for feedback and have live chats. So maybe we'll do the Winds of Change live chats as well as Living in a Van live chats, because a lot of you seem to enjoy that. I also enjoy it myself. So look forward to that. Oh, listen to the birds here. Isn't this like awesome? Can't see the birds, but it's coming from over there somewhere. You know, that's one of the things I really love about being in Florida, is that it doesn't get so cold that the animals go away. Even right now, it's like March. This is March 1st, 2018. I think it's about 78 degrees. Excuse me, I'm burping. Whew. 78 degrees or so out here right now, and you can see it's nice and green all around me. And the birds are just singing and chirping, and it's a beautiful day. Anyhow, this video is going on and on, so I figure I better end it now, and maybe we'll go ahead and talk about some other topics here in just a moment. In the meantime, thank you again for tuning in. I hope your day is going well. If you're somewhere cold, I hope it warms up soon. If you are somewhere hot, I hope you can stay cool. And if you're in Florida, get out there and enjoy this weather. This is fantastic weather. Until next time, everyone, take care.